Hey!
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King! Your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey, everybody, it is John Taman, and it is the day after Christmas. It's Boxing Day. Happy Boxing Day there, Scotty. All right.
Happy Boxing Day, John.
I don't even have any idea what Boxing Day is, but yay. My wife's Canadian, so she's talking about Boxing Day. She says she's supposed to have a present open today. That sounds to me like a scam. I don't know. I don't know.
That's normally traditionally what we do. We have one present set aside that you wouldn't give, and you do it the day after Christmas. Boxing Day, I think, traditionally goes back to years ago when you used to have prize fighting. So they actually used to box with hands the day after Christmas, and everything stopped, obviously, on Christmas. But that's about all I know about it.
That sounds like fun. Honestly, I know in some places in the United States, it's still the law. I think in Virginia, it's still the law that you can beat your wife as long as you're on the steps of the courthouse on a Sunday. So, right. So, I would think that on Boxing Day, that's when you settle all the disputes over the year. Like, you get her out there in the street. And of course, you guys, you do the old Knickerbocker fighting, right? For Boxing Day.
It's all right. Fighting, yeah.
So, yeah, this is a Washington Commanders. And I'm wearing my brand new Commanders swag. I don't know what it is, Scott. But every year, right around the end of the season, there's a day where people just give me all kinds of shit. Oh, you too? Wow.
Yeah, cool. I got some new hoodie. Yeah, so we're all good.
All right, so Jesse is on his way to the hospital. We're not sure what's going on there. I'm hoping that he's trying to just pick up on some hot nurse, which is possible anyway. But we're hoping everything's all right there. I think Keith he just texted me a couple of minutes ago. He said he's in the lobby making the Pope wait. So I guess he's got an appointment with the Pope, and he's making him wait, which is what international television sensations are wont to do. So it's going to be you and me, Scott, to talk about the absolute destruction of the Commanders on Saturday evening. Oh, that was terrible, but not altogether unexpected, eh?
No, not unexpected, John. I think deep down we all predicted a loss, and I think we knew that this was probably going to be one of them games where on the docket, if you looked at the ticket at the start of the season, I think we all predicted this was going to be a loss anyway, right. Irrespective of how the season had gone. I don't think it was as bad as we thought it was going to be. There were times
37-20. That's pretty bad.
No, we were in that game up until probably the mid-third quarter, and then the shit hit the fan, and it just all went a bit wild. The person whose name we haven't spoke about on the pod, George.
George, nobody had an answer for George. We can say his name now, fucking Kittle. And we knew that he was going to be a problem. And I mean, Derek Forrest is best, but they very well schemed up to be able to get him open. They do things that get him open. One of them is just, you can hear the quarterback. He stands there and goes, John Bostic's right there. John Bostic is right there. There's David Mayo. And they just run over there.
Do you know what, though? I thought Cam Kerr was an absolute massive miss. He could have made a huge difference to that game. Yeah. And it's now foreseen that when he's not in the team, you see the difference that he's not making. I got to take some positives out of there that, that we've hit on the two draft picks there with Defoe and Cam Curl, and they can be our safety tandem for years to come. I actually thought Taylor Heineke played quite well, but towards then in the third quarter,
up until Lucas. Well, Lucas gets beat and Heineke gets hit, and the ball goes straight up, and I mean they just snatch it out of the air. At that point, that was Cook, and then for whatever, I don't know what in the world he was looking at on that interception. Somebody's going to tell me, the receiver broke the wrong way, but dude, that is one of those. What the fuck are you doing plays? What the hell was that? And I took that sound effect off of here. Damn it!
Did you think it was a good call that they benched him and put Wentz in?
Yeah. Honestly, I did. I didn't think Taylor Heineke had such a bad day up until that. And when the wheels come off, the wheels come off. You're in desperation mode at that point. You're still in the game, but I didn't have a problem with it. I'll tell you what, man, that pass that he threw to Samuel over there at the pylon was a freaking sweet pass, man. That was accurate. That was a laser. That's exactly what you're looking for with him. So, I'm sure we're going to see him for the final 2 games of the season.
Yep.
And we'll roll the dice and see if he's going to give us a chance. Frankly, I think that if we get into the playoffs, chances are we're going to get smoked right on out of it. This is just as bad as it was 2 years ago when Ron said that we, had a little bit of fool's gold there. But and it's because of the quarterback situation. I don't think we're a dark horse enough to go for very far.
No, I think there's two. I think the 2 things that were big in the game. I mean, I know you're playing the number 1 defense. I get that. I completely understand that. The O-line is just horrible. And I don't think whoever you have in front, under center, it doesn't matter who is there, whether it's Howell, whether it's Wentz, whether it's Heineke. I don't think anybody in this group. I mean, you could have a prime Tom Brady there. It wouldn't make a difference. They're going to get smoked. Charles Leno, I mean, we'll get to our head smacks and butt pats a bit later on, but Charles Leno, great bloke off the field, but my God, start defending. You got beat like a drum.
Yes. Again.
Again and again and again.
And it's not just him. I mean, I don't want to point the finger at him because Cornelius Lucas gets beat again and again and again. He gave up the hit that put that ball straight up in the air. So they get beat on the inside, they get beat on the outside, and that's a defensive line that's going to be able to get it. Frankly, I thought that they limited Bosa somewhat until he got the big giant plays at the end of the game there, but they managed to keep him off of Heineke for the most part. I thought he had time until about the mid-third quarter. At halftime, I think they made an adjustment. They came out and they started to do things that we just couldn't handle, which was bull rush fucking Charles Leno and bull rush fucking Cornelius Lucas right back into Heineke's lap. So
I think now, though, that we've got 2 games to go, we've got to take the positives out of this. I looked at who else is in the ticket for the dance. And if we look at it, I think every single one of our teams are going to go the teams that are chasing that 7th spot are going to go 1-on-1. And even the Giants as well. I think they're going to go 1-on-1. So this tie, it didn't look good at the time, but this tie is saving our ass big time at the moment. And
right. Could you imagine if the Giants and Vikings had tied? The fucking NFL's computer probably would have melted down. Somehow, the Commanders have hit a skid where they're playing like garbage. It's getting exposed that they're getting beat like garbage, and that somehow the playoffs just keeping them in it. It's like they can't fall out of it when they, by God, should. Who was it I saw? I think it was Chris Freeman I saw on Twitter yesterday put out, we're just going to go ahead and back into these playoffs, aren't we? Yeah, we are. We're going to back right the fuck on into these playoffs and get our asses kicked right back out. That's what happens when you go in backwards. All right, so I guess let's get to the game itself. Give me your overall impression.
Overall impression, yeah, it was an okay game. I didn't give us a prayer beforehand, and I was right with that. I just think there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that we need to sort out in the offseason. Offensive line we spoke about, play calling again, pretty terrible. I've seen people defend Scott Turner saying, "Oh, look at this play, look at that play." A broken clock's right twice a day.
Right.
It's just he's not doing what we want him to do. He's not making the plays or calling the plays to put people in favor. We now got Wentz under center, and he looked quicker when he came out. The ball got out quicker. The ball was flying through the air. He's got an arm, obviously, and he can. I think also, if you look at the scheme, when that protection breaks down, and if we are getting, bull rushed or people are getting down, Carson Wentz, because he's taller, can step forward into the pocket and throw the ball, which is going to make a difference, and it is going to do that. Because Taylor's not been scrambling, we talked about it.
I've said before, I think he doesn't step up into that pocket because number one, that pocket's coming back at him very quickly. And that's one of those problems where they say, if a train leaves the line of scrimmage going at 45 miles an hour and Taylor Heineke steps towards the line of scrimmage going at 1 step an hour, when does the impact occur? But he can't see over it. Whereas Wentz, he can take a hit and stand up there and see over it enough to be able to make a throw, even if it's just a short little dump off, and with an offensive line like this, the quick hitter's got to be the thing that works out. That's the only way that you're going to back off a pass rush like this, to go faster than they can get to you. And I think I saw a little bit with Wentz in that. I think a lot of the problems that we had with him earlier on in the season with, the offensive line, but also lack of familiarity maybe with the playbook. He's another 8 weeks down the line now. So I'm thinking that that's no longer a problem. I think he's probably got a much better grasp on what he's looking at or what he's seeing or what he's calling out there in the huddle. So
Scott's right in the chat here. Scott G saying if Wentz is the guy for the next 2 weeks, then lock him in a room with Terry so he learns to target him. Absolutely spot on with that. But also at the same time, I hope, and Ron Rivera was in his post-game presser said, we're going to let the person who goes forward, which we all think is Wentz, we're going to let him have a full week. We're going to let him know early in the week so that they've got the time to set with the first team reps and take the first team reps. I want to see Carson Wentz inside Schweitzer's arsehole. Just be as close as you possibly can to him because
you just have to write
snaps.
care of Dan Snyder, Washington
Correct.
Commanders, right? He might have a video like that.
Well, maybe he does. He's got a video on everyone else, but hey ho. The snaps are just errant again for both Taylor and for Carson. I mean, Schweitzer's not a center. We know that, but they're either at his knees or they're over his head. Let's just have a week where they just practice. If it's 2 hours after practice. Get them snaps on time. Make sure they've got the feel for each other and they know when the ball's coming out so that when they're calling the plays and they're calling the protection plays, it's coming out on time and the ball is being snapped right. And then you're giving yourself that extra bit of chance to get it over to someone like Terry or Jahan, who one thing it did do for me this, it did. One thing for this game, John, that it did solidify for me was the wide receiving core is an elite core.
Oh,
it's the best
they
I've
definitely
ever seen.
can be, for sure. It's the best I've seen around here probably since Bunk, and Sanders and Clark. And that's not hyperbole. I will say this about it though. If Wentz feels comfortable throwing to Samuel and he can hit him like he hit him on that flag route, fucking throw it, dude. If that's your boy, I don't care whose name gets the damn ball. Jahan Dotson looked to be like Heineke zeroed in on him all day long. He was like, let's get Jahan Dotson the ball. He had that one drop, which you could point at
third play.
Yeah, you could point at saying, okay, the ball was Heineke kind of didn't throw it in the right spot. But the fact of the matter was he threw it to a spot where he could catch it. It was just a drop. But he kept going to him. He kept going to him and he kept going to him. At this stage of the game, I don't care which one of them he feels comfortable with. If you're gonna set up Dotson, the other side of this also is this. Terry, he's probably dragging that double team. Now he's got two absolute lethal weapons that you can't account for with as many players as they're going to have on the field, and then still try to get an adequate pass rush. That's the key right there, is try to stop them from that 4-man pass rush so that they can try to at least take some people out of the play. So I'm not too worried about which one Wentz picks up on. The other thing I thought that Scott said was this. I said it during the game. Nothing is more frustrating than watch John fucking Bates go in motion just so he can miss a block. It's like, God damn it, dude. All of our tight ends are just very disappointing as blockers, just very disappointing. And I get it that Logan Thomas is your pass catcher, but so is supposedly Armani Rogers, and so is supposedly this other kid that we got whose name I haven't even heard called this year, the one from the 5th round. Cole Turner. These are pass catching tight ends. Okay, well, Bates is the blocker and he's terrible at it.
Yeah,
the whole unit has just been really a disappointment.
It's been a disappointment.
They've needed it to be able to shore up the poor offensive line, and it just hasn't shown up.
On the defensive side of the ball on Saturday's game, it was again when we were down and we Kittle comes in with that big long touchdown. He's left to run in from 61 yards. I think then at that point, it deflated everything out of the game, and they just thought to themselves, well, "That's it. We don't even want to look like we're gonna play anymore." We haven't been aggressive on defense for quite a number of weeks, and it's almost as if I don't want to blame coordinators, but both of them are in for the blame here for me. And Jack Del Rio seems to have gone soft. It's soft. It's soft zone coverage. It's dropping eight yards back from the other wide receiver on the other side, letting them run. And I think missing Cam Kerr was a massive, massive loss for us on Saturday.
Well, that's what I said was the primary problem against the Giants. They played those JV receivers like they were afraid of them. In other situations, though, it's a domino. And the problem to me stems from the fact that they absolutely ignored the linebacker position in the offseason, and we're stuck out there with an injury to just a guy, Cole Holcomb, right? Because I don't care how many people in Washington like this guy because he's one of their homegrown guys or because they fucking know his name. He ain't that good. He's just a guy, all right? He's just a guy. Yeah. Right. Somebody said today that, we really miss his pass coverage ability. And I was like he's being sarcastic, right? Because that motherfucker can't cover a pass to save his life. But because he's that much better than Bostic and Mayo in there. You know what I'm saying?
I thought Jamin Davis had a good game again. You know,
yeah, but he's the only one.
Played quite well.
He's the only one. You can't. The thing I'm saying is you can't trust Bostic to take on an assignment like a blitz because he'll go run. Who the hell knows where he's going? He'll run over by the Gatorade bucket. It's maddening when it comes to that. So yeah, the receivers they get a little bit more cushion because they can't trust the interior of that line. They've got to get pressure with four guys because seriously, Bostic will say, "Oh, my job is to run a good quarterback. All right, so let me go hit the guard," and he'll run right into somebody. I just don't care for it. So I mean, that's a simple fact, and that spreads to the outside. It spreads to how much cushion they're able to give somebody. They've got to get home with those four guys, and if you could stop them, that's that. So yeah, I've gone all around the place. Did I make a point?
We have. Yeah, you did. You did make a point.
I did.
What were your thoughts on Chase? What were your thoughts on Chase Young then, John?
I thought he played well. I would have liked to see him more lined up at the right defensive end. I saw him over there a few times, but I think he's really wasted at the left defensive end. Although at left defensive end, he did smack that pass down, and he did make a hell of a nice play on a fourth down on the run when we stopped him on fourth down. He made a nice play there. But I think as a pass rusher, he's got to come from the other side.
Yeah.
So
what I thought with him was, and I watched him quite closely. I was waiting for him to come in for his first series. And you saw him after two plays, you know, he gestured over to the bench with a thumbs up saying, "I'm good."
Yeah.
And I think that's all it was. I thought it's not about health. I think he's been healthy for a good few weeks. It's all been about the mental side of aspect of it, is getting hit, knowing that knee is there and you can trust that knee and it's okay. He's meant to play something between 12 and 15 snaps. And then he comes over to the bench and says, "No, coach, don't take me out. I'm good. I'm good," which is a great thing to see. You know, he's playing right the way through to the fourth quarter. Then at the same time, you know, Chase is out there doing what he's doing best. He's pressuring, he's batting balls down. It's going to be great to have him for the next 2 weeks. You know, it adds to the defense, you know, as a whole. But what was more important was, I think this injury has humbled him a little bit. I think the first season he's came in, he's got Defensive Rookie of the Year. The accolades there. I'm a superstar. He's doing adverts for Chipotle, everything else. Yeah. And then the next thing he's in, he kind of had that.
He gets put on the wrong side of the freaking line for 80% of the plays, and he can't show up, and he really takes a beating. People really look at him and say he's no good, right?
And then he gets injured, and it's like, right, 13 months later, you're finally back in there. And the good thing is, it looks like he's bought in. You know, he's bought into the defensive scheme, and he's not doing his own thing. He's not going off script.
Well, he's got to.
Want to see?
He's got to, because, you know, the fact of the matter is they've got a good chemistry working on that line with Payne and Allen and with Sweat. If he comes in and disrupts that, even though he's a damn good player, then he's really not helping. So yeah, I think he's right as to buy in and try to play within it. At first, he'll feel his way through, and then soon they'll start to play instinctively with that. I thought he played fast. I thought he played violently, which is exactly what I wanted to see out of him. And I mean, he made plays. That swatted pass that he knocked down, dude, he went up so high. He looked like Akeem Olajuwon on that play. That ball, his hand was waiting there for that ball. No. I mean, it was waiting there. I thought, dude, stick your other hand up. You might catch it, because it was just like, bam. He hit that thing full on. The speed with which he was able to take off of the line of scrimmage and the power with which he laid into the guard or the tackle that was in front of him, man, that's what I like to see. And you
got to remember, he's going against Trent Williams. You know what I mean? And we all know what Trent's like. And it's just like, yeah. And at one stage, I noticed they pushed the left guard in as well to double team him, which is it's an encouraging thing to see that happening.
If you're leaving Jonathan Allen alone, you know, if you're trying a one-on-one Jonathan Allen because you feel like you have to do that over there because you're not sure that Trent Williams is up to it. Yeah, that's a pretty good sign. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself with all that because they did score 37 points.
They did. And at the end of the day, I said this the other day on the prediction show, and I think I said it on your show on Friday. I think the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. I really do. I honestly do. I think they're better than the Eagles. I mean, if you match them up against the Eagles side by side, I think the 49ers win that. I really do.
Cowboys fans have an argument right now, and they have an argument all the time, no matter how delusional they are. But right now, they can at least say something. They did beat Philadelphia, even though it was with Minshew. Dude, I'll tell you what, man. I get where you're coming from with San Francisco, but I still think it's Philadelphia. And I think if it comes down to Philadelphia in San Francisco. That's going to be a monster NFC Championship game.
It's going to be a great game that if that does come down to that.
So, what did you think of their 7th round nobody quarterback?
Yeah, he was okay. Obviously, again, a bit of a lucky interception, really. It was kind of flicked back in from the wide receiver, or he kind of flicked it back towards us.
He smacked it up.
And then he played well, but he's not Tom Brady. And I don't think the 49ers fans think that he's Tom Brady either.
He doesn't need to be.
It's not the second coming, but I think he could put a garbage can in the middle of that under center and still score 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Tell you what,
I thought they're set up.
I thought he snaps the ball well. I mean, when he throws it, it's got a nice freaking zip on it. I thought he was pretty good. So just looking at him, because it's kind of always interesting to be playing against Mr. Irrelevant. Even though people have been watching him for a couple of weeks, we get to see him close up for a game against us, full game. And I thought, I mean, really, I didn't see what you expect out of the young rookie quarterbacks, which is the critical mental error. Remember I said in the prediction, get in there and remind him who he is. He's number fucking whatever pick. He's the last one. And he was unflappable. They couldn't really. And
that's it. Again, it's down to aggression though, John. As I said before, we weren't aggressive enough at getting to him.
They were very good at their play calling. I mean, they did a lot to keep us off balance. Christian McCaffrey is such a freaking weapon that there's really not a whole lot you can. If you pin your ears back and come after him, they're just going to run a delay and be right past you with him, and he's running free against your secondary.
Look at the 71-yard TD to Ray McLeod. If you take that away and you look at McCaffrey as a whole, we held McCaffrey to just over 3 yards a carry. That's not a bad day. You know, it's not a bad day for a player of his caliber. And we seem to have done that well with really good running backs. You know, I know we gave up just over 100 against Henry.
Saquon Henry
was the same in the first game, but in the second game he went on a bit, Saquon. And then again with McCaffrey, we've held them well, but we just, as you said, it's about scheme. Kyle Shanahan schemed it up, and he knows we're going to go with McCaffrey. So I'll just play this out to Ray McLeod. He'll run down the sideline, and that's it. Game over. I thought as soon as that touchdown went in, it was like, this is it now. We're in.
Well, no, that was still very early. I thought. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that 7-0 or 14-7?
I think it might have been 14. Take it to 14-7 at that point. But yeah.
I thought we didn't have a problem really moving the ball. We just, again, we stagnate down in the freaking red zone. We get stopped on 4th down
at the half-yard line.
Right.
What are we doing?
Well, you know, they tried to run the ball in. All right. They tried to run the ball in.
But they used Gibson.
Well, they did, and I don't blame them.
Why are you using Gibson? No, not for me.
No, see, at that point right there, I'm thinking that they're trying to hit him with the speed. And it's not necessarily like the scat back speed that's going to be able to make a move and all that. But if you hit the line fast enough, you're going to break through it just far enough. And I think that's what they're looking at. Because one of the things I have found about Brian Robinson that I'm not too thrilled about is that he does run very upright. He runs very upright, and he does have a tendency to take a hesitation step behind the line of scrimmage, which in lots of cases has worked out for him because it gives him that half a second to pick where the hole is, let the block set up, and then he's able to push through. But down the goal line, you can't do that, man. You can't do that.
So why aren't you bringing Jonathan Williams in there?
I see, because you got Antonio Gibson, and he's just as big. I mean, he's just as big as Williams is. And it should have worked. He did hit the hole hard and fast. Just somebody got him by the legs and pulled him stopped dead. You know, the thing is, I didn't mind the try at that point. I really didn't mind the try. You get him stopped there. You got him backed up to way as far back as you can possibly get him. But you can't give up a 77-yard run. Because that's when that happens, right? You just this is where if you're going to play that kind of game, you got to win the field position game. Because it was a nothing game for quite a while there. Yeah. And right then and there, I believe that was 7-0 was when he busted.
It was,
that line.
You're right. It was 7-0.
Right. So,
but it's interesting that we're debating this here, but we still have this red zone problem where we just cannot, for the life of us, get the ball in the end zone. Between the 20s, we're great. You know, we are absolutely great.
Yeah.
And then we get down to the red zone and there's just no way we punch it in. And I don't know whether it's play calling, whether it's scheme. I don't know what it is, whether the players just shit themselves and think, God, I've got to score here. And they just can't get it done.
I think that what it is mostly is because that they Heineke has just not got the the guts for what they have to do down there. And I don't mean like, he's a chicken shit or anything like that. I don't know. I hate to use the word moxie, but down there you do need to be a little bit of a gunslinger, and he's too hesitant down there. He can't see through him. The defenses, when I see us at the goal line, or when we get down inside the 10-yard line, most of the time I watch defenses basically just drop back into these little zones and then rush the shit out of him. And then once he's rushed, like the one touchdown that he got last week, he drifted back and drifted back and drifted back and drifted back. And then he finally he threw a touchdown pass, if I'm remembering correctly. Am I remember correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. After
Dobson.
2 days. Right. See, when you're my age, short-term memory is a problem. But you know what? You asked me what happened 10 years ago. I'll tell you. In 10 years, I'll remember that play. But yeah, the touchdown to Dotson, he drifts back like 15 yards. And I'm thinking, fuck, here we go again. So when you look at Heineke on his 4th and 1 little goddamn plunge attempt, did you see? Oh, you can't hesitate. You cannot hesitate. And they just don't have that attack mentality down there. When I'll tell you what, when you run that quarterback sneak, it should be successful 99.9% of the time. And the 0.1% that it's not, it's because your quarterback does something stupid like that with his footwork. You don't even wait. You just get up there, and as soon as the quarterback's finger touches his freaking taint, the ball comes up, boom, everybody go forward. You can't help it. If it's less than a yard, God damn it, everybody out there is 6 feet, right? Just fucking go forward, right? It drives me crazy when they do that shit. There was another point during the game. Now, again, remember, my short-term memory loss is sometimes a problem. But we had a situation where I'm trying to remember where we should have thrown the red flag. Oh, it was the fucking touchdown. They threw a bomb to Terry. Right. Now, we scored on that, but God damn it, he wasn't touched. He wasn't touched. No, the contact that made him go to the ground happened before the ball got there. So there's no way you can call him down by contact because he didn't have possession of the ball. You can call pass interference because that's clearly what it is. That was, to me, was like a microcosm of the officiating. They completely miss the defensive pass interference that causes him to go down, and they use the fact that he touched him before the ball got there to say, "Oh, you were down."
Then I thought the officials were poor again, and then they have a 2-minute look at the tablet, what's going on, for a catch that was clearly a catch for the 49ers.
I know. And you can say all you want about they got to look at the clock and see where the clock is, and you got to look at the hash mark and see where the hash. I mean, it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long. I mean, seriously, how often do you sit there watching the game on your television, on your couch, after a few beers, and see one of these plays, and it takes you more than 30 seconds to go, "Oh yeah, he caught it"?
Never.
Right.
Never.
If they give you the right angle, oh yeah, you can see it. Jesus, drives me nuts how they do. But yeah, I thought Ron should have thrown the flag right then and there. That's a touchdown.
Scott G spot on again there in the chat saying failure at the goal line at 4th and 1 highlights the problems with the O-line. I agree with you completely. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, there is going to be 5 changes on that O-line next season. I cannot see a single one of them players who starting again next year. They might be backups, but they won't be starting. That's a certainty. I mean, you could probably take Cornelius Lucas as your swing tackle. You could put Schweitzer as your backup right guard. I'm quite comfortable with, or left guard. I'm quite comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with Cosme and how he's come on. Again, they were interchanging him and Lucas from time to time throughout the game. Them 3, I think, will be there, but we need major changes on the offensive line. I mean, you've had 2 seasons now where both centers, backup and starter, have had major injuries. That's a real problem from start to finish. And the other 2 tackles are getting beat, like a drum every single week. Turner and Norwell, we talked about them on Friday, saying that we thought that they'd come in with big reputations and the ceiling was quite high, but the floor has been, it's been real bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't put my feet on it. No way.
Exactly, man. It's worse than a crack den, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's the drop off from Flowers and Scherf's been huge. It's been a real problem.
Scherf, I understand. I still don't understand how they called him an all-pro, but then again, I don't really care anymore. The fact I understand that he didn't want to stay here and that he took the big-time money and went down to Jacksonville, I don't blame him for any of that kind of shit. I really don't. Bertie, our friend Bertie's here. He's got something to say for the holidays. All right, well, Merry Christmas. He's got
Happy holidays, Bertie.
Yeah, there he goes. And that's why we know why he's called Bertie. All right. So, Bertie just threw my freaking time, my frame of thought off, and I'm sure exactly what he wanted to do. He threw my Christmas train right off the tracks.
Are we in head smacks and butt pats now?
No, I was making a point about something, and I can't remember what it was because Bertie and his stupid goose oven. I can't help anything about that. All right, so there you go, everybody. If anybody wants to really know what I had to say, I'm sure it was very fucking profound. And thanks to Bertie, I can't remember what it was. But I will say this. On Saturday, right, we had some fun because our good friend Jesse had some family show up and unexpectedly become house guests. And you know how our buddy is, right? So he wasn't really thrilled with it. So I said that this was, Jesse's house at Christmas. Apparently he's swallowed something to try to get away from these people. Maybe he's taking some Drano to try to get these folks away. So today I said, all right, give me some ideas for these stupid little 5-second things. And they figured I should make fun of you and Keith.
That's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't make fun of Keith because, the guy's he's not here. There's no jokes to make about him. He's not here. I could make a Claude Rains joke, but you'd really have to be older. You have to go look up about that. So here's a typical Christmas at Scott's house. I do not understand why the hog's head is yellow, however.
I don't know.
There you go.
Traditional British Christmas there in the Hartley household.
That's right. So, of course, they'll think that I won't ever make fun of myself, which is not true. But I do want to show you what at my house what Christmas is. Okay, boy, we're having a good time. That's right. We're having a ball here. There you go.
Is that you and Birdie having fun this Christmas?
Birdie's not invited. That's me. And as a matter of fact, I have guys that are standing outside the door that stand there like this, and they have big curved swords, and they're told not to let Birdie or his goose anywhere near the place. I could just see it. People gather at Birdie's house for Christmas dinner, and they say, "Birdie, this goose smells funny." All right. Well, you got the stuffing completely backwards, buddy. All right. So yeah, let's do some butt pats and head smacks. So let me see. Butt pat, attaboy, head smack. Get out of here. All right. So who's your first offensive butt pat of the day?
The entire offensive line. I can't give the one out there.
Well, wait a minute. Perhaps you don't follow the butt
pats.
Oh,
sorry. Butt pats. Yes, butt pats.
Butt pats. Yes.
Okay, let's start again. So we'll rewind that and we'll not say that happened.
It even tells you.
I know.
The instructions are right there. I mean, it's like, attaboy. Head smack. Get out of here. I don't see the difficulty.
Okay. And you say you're old. Oh, dear.
All right. The first offensive butt pat of the day.
Butt pat. I'll go with Terry McLaurin.
All right. Attaboy. What did he do for you this weekend?
70. What was it? 70 yards or just over 70 yards he got in this game. He did well. He had a decent enough game. I don't think anyone really showed out on the offense, if I'm being honest. There wasn't much there. I'll
tell you what. For me, it was Jahan Dotson. And even though he dropped that pass, he made up for it. He scored a touchdown. He had a couple of nice catches during the course of the game. He had another deep shot that he caught. So Jahan Dotson, dude, I'll tell you what. As is well documented on this show, I was fucking thrilled when we drafted him. I've been watching him at Penn State since he was there, when he began there. And he is that good. The fact that we can potentially have him and Terry for the next couple of years, if Wentz can frickin' step up and learn this offense, and they can protect him, if we can get a couple of guards and a few tackles, because I do believe you can do some major league overhauls. I know we were talking earlier in the season about how the Bengals, they did that kind of offensive line overhaul, and it didn't really work. Well, yeah, it has. It took a little while to gel, but it definitely has. So I'm looking for something like that for our offensive line, because I'm with you, man. it's atrocious what's been happening to him. And I mean, granted, that's the 49ers and that's Nick Bosa, but still, you got to do better than that. So there's mine for Jahan Dotson. Attaboy. How about you? You got any
do you
more?
want to give one to? Do you want to give one to Curtis Samuel? Touchdown.
I'll tell you what. I will give a double smack for Curtis Samuel. Attaboy. And for Carson Wentz for that throw. That was a freaking dime. I mean, that was a laser beam that he threw. And when you see him do those kinds of things, you see it and you go, damn. If we could get it that with any consistency, if we could just protect him long enough, 3 seconds for him to be able to get these kinds of, because they're open all over the place and he'll hit them. So yeah, I'll definitely give a double butt pat on that. All right. What about defensively? You got any defensive butt pats?
That's Chase Young. He came in, was only supposed to play 12 to 15 snaps. He's still out there in the fourth quarter doing his thing. Looked like he hadn't missed a step. I'm really excited to see him for the next 2 games, and what will happen after that will happen after that, and maybe more than 2 games. We all hope it will be. But yeah, it was encouraging to see him out there after 13 months of not seeing him.
I'm not going to give one to the defense. They got manhandled all day long, and it wasn't a matter of they got embarrassed or run out of the stadium. I just didn't think that it was an overall performance that warranted anybody being congratulated, even though Chase Young had a decent performance considering the circumstances. I thought that Allen and Payne made a couple of plays, but I need a little bit more than a couple of plays if I'm going to be passing around. Attaboys. I thought that Sweat had a couple of nice plays, but same thing again. I thought that Jamin Davis had a decent game, but the rest of the linebackers, you just can't get beat 37-20 and expect me to give you any attaboys. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Fair
All
enough.
right. So what about head smacks for the offense?
Yes, Scott Turner. I'll go with first.
Yeah, I thought I kind of made the whole point by saying, how about some head smacks for the offense?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
O-line abysmal from start to finish. Just, I get it. I understand that you're playing against the top-rated defense in the entire NFL, but you need to play better than that. I mean, like I was saying to you before, if you get beat by the better team, but you put in the work in, I can get that and I understand that.
Right.
It's the sheer lack of effort that pisses you off when you watch it week in, week out.
I don't know if there's a lack of effort.
I think there is.
They were severely outclassed. And I'll tell you what, I honestly didn't think the offensive line played that bad. They had a couple of really bad plays, where they gave up big time turnover, a game-changing turnover. That's always going to stand out and color an overall opinion. But I thought that by and large, we've seen defensive lines dominate them better than that. All right. Earlier in the season, we saw jailbreaks against them on every fucking play. We saw the Giants jailbreak them all the time right up the middle. And I thought that they were able to handle that somewhat well. It was just the big game-changing plays that are caused by those outside ends coming in and crashing against single blocks. And I tell you what, back to what Scott said, the tight ends have been an abysmal failure in pass protection. It's just bad all the way around on that. So head smacks again to the tight ends from me, because you boys failed, weren't very good at all. I'm going to give another head smack to Taylor Heineke for that what the fuck interception. The fuck was that? I mean, what the fuck was that? Somebody will tell me, right? Like, what's his name? Mark, right? Mark Tyler, I think his name is Mark.
Yeah, hates Heineke, doesn't he? Absolutely hates him.
Well, he's right. But the fact of the matter is, he'll probably he's fair. He'll put up a video to show me that the receiver ran the wrong route or something like that. And I'll see what the hell happened on that. But chances are he'll probably say, I don't know what the fuck Heineke was looking at. I don't think he does either. So I agree. I didn't have a problem with the switch, and I'm all right with it going forward. All right. So offensive head smacks. That was for me, the whole offense. All of you.
Yep. I can't disagree with you. I think the offensive line, the tight end group was poor. Our wide receivers played well.
They can only do what they can do, though. They can only do what they can do.
That was it.
I don't understand. I mean, we seem to have this complaint every week, whether it's okay, they're not targeting Terry enough in certain play, or they're not targeting. They forgot what the Hodson. Well, okay, so Curtis Samuel seems to have fallen off the bed now, and I don't understand this. You got enough guys that you can really spread it around. So hopefully I see that from Wentz, that we really spread it around. It needs to be spread around. This business about only targeting, Samuel 3 times a game. Each of these guys are getting two targets, 3 targets. That's just not enough, man. You got to really, really work them. And I want to see more Curtis Samuel. All right, so let's see. Do we have any defensive heads, Max?
Yeah, Bostic, Mayo.
Mayo.
But God, Mayo, I thought he started off really well. I thought, wow, this David Mayo's made a play. What's going on?
Yes. Right. Then you leave him out on the counter, and it turns pretty quick. Mayo can only do what he can do. He doesn't belong out there in that position, and it's unfortunate they keep sticking him out there to do, things that John Bostic can't do. Mayo can't do them either, but they fucking flat out know that Bostic couldn't do them, and they knew it when they cut him, and they I'm not even going to go down that road again. But yeah, complete head smack for the abuse of the linebackers again. I'm going to give a head smack. I don't want to give a head smack to Derek Forrest. I thought that he was a little overmatched out there. He's still a young player. He was Cam Curl not being there, I think, really affected that.
Massive.
So, yeah, I like I said earlier, I don't tend to really want to come down too hard on the defense because they can only do what they can do in that period. If I was going to give anything, defensive line, man, we need more pressure. Yeah. Our
not
need to get home.
Enough. Not aggressive enough.
Got to get home.
Special teams, we got head smacks on there or butt pats. We surely have. What the fuck?
Yeah, go ahead.
What the actual fuck was the kick? What were we doing? Trying to. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I'll do an onside kick with 5 minutes.
It went back. What? It went backwards. It curled around and was like, "Fuck this! I don't want to go over there." And it came back towards our guys.
That was Joey Sly. Poor again.
Yeah.
Kickoff returns terrible. Punt returns not brilliant again.
Not brilliant. You're being very kind. Not brilliant.
I am. But Dax Milne is just a fair catch merchant. Nothing more. That is it. You're going to get
for a yard or two.
You're going to get a fair catch, or you're going to get 2 to 5 yards in a return. That is it.
They don't really seem to have a plan.
I think they obviously trust him because he's not going to drop the ball. So they trust him not to have a muffed punt, which is what you want.
Better knock wood.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. But yeah, they were bad as well. I think on all 3 phases of the ball, we were terrible.
I thought that Tressway punted well. All right, we had some decent punt coverage, but yeah, the onside kick, dude. I've never seen one turn around and go backwards before. I've never seen one that actually it went 8 yards and then it went backwards 2 yards. I'm like, what the fuck,
John?
Is that?
It was the timing. Why are you doing that with over 5 minutes to go?
Because they weren't going to get the ball back again. That's why. And I mean, I don't have a problem with doing it because you just don't have. It's one of those things that you don't have a chance anyway. It's only 5 minutes to go. We're down by 2. At that point, two scores. Right. And with their ability to control the clock, all right, their ability to control the clock, you gotta play for 2 possessions. And that means you gotta steal one.
You still got 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning, though.
Yeah, but they don't know how to use their timeouts. You know that. And
I know that, yeah.
they don't know how to use their timeouts. But even still, you're right. You got 3 2-minute. You got to steal a possession, I think. And I think that's what they tried to do. Unfortunately, Joey Sly kicked it fucking backwards. I've never seen that before.
So strange.
In my life. Oh, well. I guess that's what you get. So
Joey Sly, shut the fuck up.
Shut up! Shut up!
Sit the fuck down and shut up!
Shut up and sit down.
You shut up!
Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
Yeah, he doesn't really make any noise, but he just needs to shut up and sit down because that was just ridiculous. Don't tell me anything. So how do you see it coming up this week against the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I'm encouraged. They've not been doing very well with the sexual predator at quarterback.
Right.
But, I'm worried in a way about Myles Garrett and about this offensive line. You're going from one elite rusher to another elite rusher. That's a bit of a scary situation. If you have to chip him or double team him, do whatever you can to get on top of him. But I think we can play better. I think we have to play better. It needs to be better play calling all around, especially from Scott Turner. I don't want to see the defense doing what they've been doing the last few weeks and playing soft. I certainly do not want to see empty sets or 5 to 7 yard dropbacks. I'm not interested in seeing that at all. It's just, but I do think we get the job done somehow, some way. I think we get the job done at home.
We should be a better team than the Cleveland Browns. In my opinion, one of the things I think is a little bit scary. We've seen mobile quarterbacks that have just wrecked us already. And Deshaun Watson, even though he can't throw right now, he can run. So I want to see them go ahead and pound the rapist into the ground. That would be nice. And not let him break contain like that. We're going to need to put a spy on him. And John Bostic, dude, if that's you, it's only a 3-letter word. Go look it up. Spy. It means keep your eye on him and don't go anywhere but where he goes. That's what you're supposed to do. So I think that we have the opportunity in front of us to be able to win a game like that, because I do think that we're better than they are. So I hope that fans show up, on Sunday, and they show up, try to be loud so that we can get something like that. I say that because I'm not fucking going fucking cold and I'm a hermit.
I heard that Keith's firing the jet up, so I might be there. We'll see on Monday. We'll see what's happening.
All right. Well, we'll find out about that then. All right. So I'll tell you what then. What it says this week, our game's on Saturday again because it's New Year's Eve, because they won't play on Sunday. There's all kinds of college football.
I think it's Saturday. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess we will be back here on Friday. Hopefully, Jesse will survive his trip to the hospital. Seriously, I don't know what's the matter with him.
No, it's New Year's Day. It's New Year's Day, 1st of Jan, week 17, 1 p.m.
Oh, yeah? They said, fuck these bowl games. Hey, Peach Bowl, fuck off. That's right. So, well, then we'll even still. We'll be back on Friday. We'll see if Keith can make a decent excuse this time as to why he can't join us, even though it'll be New Year's Eve. I don't know what might keep him busy that night.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm just fucking with him. But and I hope Jesse's all right, because that's kind of a bad thing. You get a text right before the show that says I'm on my way to the hospital. I ain't feeling
not good.
So
prayers up to you, Jesse. Stay safe and stay well, mate. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right then. Well, then I will see you on Friday. And I got to put this out here. Let me go ahead and start this. This is the stupidest music. I just love it.
It is a great ending, though, to be fair. And you got my naked chest on last time. I was happy with that.
Oh, we did. Hey,
we did. The last 3 seconds.
Maybe I will maybe invite you to my Christmas party. That's right.
When you have a body like a melted wheelie bin, John, it's not ideal, that's for sure. Look like a bag of sick. Yeah.
A bag of sick. Melted wheelie bin sounds to me like something you buy at a bakery. So.
No. It's certainly
I know it's not. All right. Well, I'm going to push the end broadcast button on this. Everybody be good, be cool. We'll see y'all on Friday.
Happy holidays.